Wealth That Bringeth Destruction by Ginzberg. God gave 3 gifts to the world: wisdom, strength and wealth. If they come from God, they are a blessing, otherwise they bring ruin. The world had 2 great sages, Balaam among the Gentiles and Ahithophel among the Jews, but both of these, on account of their wisdom, lost this world as well as the world beyond. There were 2 great heroes in the world, Samson in Israel and Goliath among the Gentiles, but both met death on account of their strength. There were 2 wealthy men in the world, Korah among the Jews and Haman among the Gentiles, and both perished on account of their wealth. A similar fate overtook the 2.5 tribes that stayed on the hither side of the Jordan. These had grown very rich in cattle through the spoils of the Midianites, and therefore preferred the pasture land on the hither side of the Jordan as their inheritance, but later on their wealth brought them destruction, because, choosing on their brethren, they were afterwards the first that were driven from their dwelling place into exile. 864. How intent these people were upon their possessions is shown in the words with which they presented their wish to Moses, saying, "We will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones," showing that they rated the cattle higher than their children, for they thought of the animals before they considered their children. Moses did not indeed call them to account for this, but showed them in unmistakable words that it was their duty first to consider men and then animals, by saying in his reply to these tribes, "Build you cities for your little ones and folds for your sheep." 865. The land which these tribes had selected was indeed of great excellence, as even the names of the cities indicate. One was called Ataroth, garlanded with fruits; a second Dibon, flowing with honey; a third Jazer, help, for its possession was a great help to those who owned it. These other cities in this region that were names on account of the excellence of the soil were Nimrah, gaily coloured, for the ground of this city was gaily coloured with fruits; Sebam, perfume, whose fruits scattered a fragrance like perfume; and Nebo, produce, because it was distinguished for its excellent product. 866. This last mentioned city, like Balmian, did not retain its name when it passed into Israel's possession, for they wanted to have not cities that bore the names of idols, and therefore gave them new names. 867. Many another town as well received a new name from the Israelites, just as Noba gave his own name to the city of Kenath that he had gained by arms, hoping in this way to immortalize his name, for he had no children. His name was, however, not preserved in this way, for after the death of the conqueror, the old name of Kenath returned again. 868. It was among the possessions of these 2.5 tribes also that Moses, shortly before his death, founded the cities of refuge. Moses in this instance illustrates the proverb, "Whosoever loves pious deeds, never has enough of them." Although God had told Moses that he would never cross to the other side of the Jordan, he still insisted upon at least determining the site for the asylum in the region of the East Jordan. God gave Moses the law concerning the cities of refuge in accordance with Israel's wish, for the people said to God, "Lord of the world, Thou didst promise us a long course of life as a reward for fulfilling the commandments, but supposing now that a man hath slain another unintentionally, and the avenger of the blood slays him, he will die before his time." God then said to Moses, "As truly as thou livest, they speak wisely. Appoint therefore several cities for cities of refuge, that the manslayer might flee thither, which slayeth his neighbour unawares." Moses rejoiced greatly at this statute, and instantly set about its execution, for he that hath tasted of a food knoweth its flavour, and Moses, who had erstwhile been obliged to flee on account of having slain an Egyptian, knew the feelings of the man who is pursued on account of a manslaughter that he had committed unawares. 869.